What do you feel? Do you feel like, from your experience, not having, you know, a real family who is biologically related to you, do you feel like that was one of the hardest things you had to overcome?
I think one of the hardest things to overcome was the fact that, in my situation, it was that my mother chose drugs over me,
Right.
and in front of me, and behind my back, lied
Right.
to me,
Right.
and did everything she could for drugs, but not for me.
Right.
And that hurt.
Right.
And to this day, she'll admit that she messed up, and she'll admit that she was wrong and that she was a horrible mother. And I feel like a part of me hasn't forgiven her for it, because I still talk about it. I
Right.
want to forgive her, but
Right.
that was the hardest part.
Absolutely. So not feeling that somebody was there for you throughout
That
that.
somebody that was supposed to love you never did.
Right. I totally understand.
Somebody that was supposed to be there.
And when they were there, it felt like maybe they weren't coming from the right place. They lied to you, betrayed you, basically violated everything that made you feel whole or integral, right? I could say, from coming from the place that I was at, you know, the pains that I went through, nobody cared, you know. I had to figure out a way to deal with taking care of it for myself. And because nobody listened, you know, I feel like one of the most painful things that anybody can go through is having this thing where they're trying to be vulnerable and they're going through so much pain that they want to reach out and have somebody help understand them, somebody to just believe what they're going through. But then when your whole environment, the people who are the closest to you, actually dismiss it, deny it, and they reject you, and you have nowhere to go to, and you're just alone within your own space, you know, it's one of the most painful things you can go through, because you can't surrender to anybody, and you have no support system. You're just in self-inflicting isolation, and then you can go into a downward spiral and not really do anything to help you get yourself up. Would you agree that that sounds pretty painful?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like my experience with not having, honestly, I feel like the biological family thing isn't really like what kind of made me feel, you know, how I feel now. I feel, because blood doesn't mean that, you know, this is your family. It's just, you know, biologically this is who I come from, but family is who is there for you, who supports you, who loves you. You know,
Right.
I feel like my foster families, you know, the people that I was with, I feel like they cared more, not just because they were getting money for me, like they were getting paid to care, but I feel
Right.
like the fact that, you know, either they couldn't have kids, or the kids that they did have were like growing up, but they didn't have like the love or the ability to be able to, like, you know, I don't know what I'm trying to say, like the ability to care for someone again, you know, because their children are now taking care of themselves and or have their own families, or they just never had, you know. I feel like, you know, the foster families treat the kids a little bit better. Some of them knowing where they're coming from, they don't want to, you know, continue on with that cycle, so they try to give you something different. My family is just like negative. I try not to deal with them. You know, they're
Right.
negative, continuously, like, you know, putting you down.
Right.
I feel like I've done better with the foster family than I've dealt with my own biological,
Gotcha.
you know, like given family. You know.
Gotcha. So someone who was there, who cared, but kind of wasn't there entirely.
Right.
And then, you know, with some of the people that you wanted to be closer with, you felt like you loved them, but you didn't know them. Yeah. That basically describes my relationship with my family too. So I understand. So when you grow from a place of independence, you become really strong, wouldn't you say? You go through your own trials, and you create certain expectations that you have to follow through with to become a better person.